Hello everyone, this is Brandon and I wanted to do a quick video about how to travel around and close to China cheaply and how to use WeChat to pay, or maybe even Alipay, which in China WeChat is known as Weixin and Alipay is known as Zhifubao. But it's possible for you to use both of these applications to not only pay for stuff, but even as a foreigner, even if you're not Chinese, it doesn't matter. But you can also use these to book plane tickets. So I'll put the links below whenever I finish the video, but right now I'll just tell you basically how to do that. Now, first of all, if you already have WeChat on your phone, that's all you need. You don't need Alipay or Zhifubao. You don't need that, but you can get both. I have both on mine. However, in the beginning, getting them set up and connected to a bank account was a little difficult. Now, if you're new to China and you don't yet have WeChat, I'm a little surprised actually, but you can download WeChat from the store. Now, my phone is an international phone, so when I downloaded the WeChat, I got it from the Google Play Store, and I have the English version. Now, the thing about WeChat is that it's a Chinese app, so even though it's in English, if you start to get into the intricacies to do the detailed things inside WeChat, you'll notice that it's in Chinese. For example, let's say you go to the certain screen where it shows you you can buy a movie ticket. You want to buy a movie ticket. Well, once you get to that screen, it's going to be in Chinese, and so you'd need a friend to help you with that. But as it relates to paying for things, it's very likely that if you're watching this video, you've already used WeChat to pay for some things. But if you want to receive money, send money, and connect to your bank account, then you're going to have to do some extra steps. And so I'm going to kind of tell you how to do that right now. Now, let me tell you a couple of things, okay? First of all, as it relates to WeChat in particular, I've been told by a couple of people at the bank that because I'm a foreigner, I cannot connect my WeChat to a bank card. But this is BS. Don't listen to that. It's not true. So how do you do it? Well, you'll notice if you've tried to connect your WeChat to a card before, first of all, which card are you trying to connect to? Because I have one US bank card and I've never been able to successfully connect that to my WeChat. Now, supposedly you can connect international credit cards to your WeChat account, but my card is not an international credit card. It's just an international, I'm sorry, it's just a bank card. It's not what I would call an international bank card. I can use it to pay for things in other countries, but I have to keep reminding my bank every few months to allow me to use it in other countries, because sometimes I'll try to use it, or I'll try to use it on the internet, and suddenly I get blocked. And so I have to contact them again and ask them to remove the blocks. So it's not a permanent thing. It's not truly an international card. But anyway, that's beside the point. My main point about your local card is if you have an international credit card, you should be able to connect it, but I'm not going to talk about that because I haven't done that. I will say if you have a bank account here in China, then you can definitely connect it to your WeChat. And this is what you need to do. When you put in your information, if it doesn't take it, you say, well, Brandon, I put in my Bank of China account information, I put in my name, my number, and everything, and it won't take it. Well, here's why. It's because for some reason the information you're putting in is not exactly what it's listed as on the bank account. And you might think that it is, but you know, in China they arrange things differently. And for example, mine wouldn't take in the beginning, no matter how many times I tried, because my name was not in the correct order. And so I had to actually go to the bank, and this is what I'm telling you might have to do. Actually go to the bank and tell them you need your specific information, your specific account information, including your name and everything, exactly as it's asking you on WeChat. And you have to put it in exactly the same way. You have to put it in exactly the same way as it shows on your bank account, because if it's different even a little, it'll be thrown out by WeChat and it won't work. When I actually went to the bank to do this, there was a supervisor at the bank and another lady, and they were trying to tell me, oh, no, you can't do that, which is kind of a common thing here in China. When you try to do something, maybe they think it can't be done, or that's not the way they do things, and so they try to either tell you it can't be done or discourage you, but don't listen to that. Just tell them, I just want the information. That's what I had to do. I had to say, listen, just give me the information. I know my foreign friends do it, so they're definitely wrong. I knew they were wrong, and so I pushed the issue and I said, please just give me my information. I have the right to see it. And they said, okay, and they gave me the information, and I stood right there in front of them and I put it in and it worked. And I showed it to them, and they were like, huh. Yeah, that's right. Waigorren orda. So the foreigner knows something. Yeah. 什么东西? Yeah, just a little something. 一点点. But anyway, so that's the thing I'm telling you. If you want to set up your WeChat connected to your China bank account, then you have to put it in exactly the same way. So go to the bank, get your information, put it in, do it right there at the bank so that it works. It'll set up right then and you'll be good to go. Now, if you don't have a Chinese bank account, or you don't want to do that, and you can try setting it up to your international card, but remember, it's going to have to be exact. The information is going to have to be exact, and I'm not going to guarantee that that's going to work because I've never done that. But I do know that the information on WeChat that you put in has to match exactly what the bank is telling WeChat when you try to set it up. So that's the first thing. Now, you can basically do the same process for Alipay. You can set up your bank card with Alipay, 支付宝, and do the same thing. For some reason, that worked very easily for me. It worked super fast, and I didn't have to, play around with it to try to get it to work like I did with WeChat. I tried for a long time to get WeChat to work until I finally thought, why don't I just go to the bank and look at my information? And so I did, and it worked immediately. But with Alipay, I was able to get it set up. I was actually in Japan at the time, just downloaded the app, hooked it up, and it worked. But this moves us to the second part of how to book flights and things like that, very cheap in and around China. Now, there are some things that you can do with WeChat and Alipay, but some of those things you cannot do elsewhere. For example, in China, you can pay for stuff. You can go down to the milk tea shop. There's a milk tea shop here that's popular from Taiwan. It's called Yidiandian. And you can go there and you can use Alipay. They don't take WeChat, but you can use Alipay and pay. And it comes out of your bank account. Yay. You can go into Starbucks and use WeChat or Alipay and pay for your matcha latte. Yay. You can go to pretty much any retailer in China and use WeChat. You can go to the street vendors and eat street food, and on their cart they'll have the little QR code. You can scan that and pay with WeChat or Alipay. Yay. But guess what? Let's say you go to Japan for a week, and you'll notice that all of these tax-free stores will have these signs that say, we accept WeChat and Alipay. And you think, oh, cool, I can pay out of my bank account in China. And you scan, and it'll say, nope, you can't do that because you are Laowai, you are Waigorren, you're a foreigner. So that's correct. You don't have a Chinese ID, and because you don't have a Chinese ID, you cannot pay outside of China for services with WeChat or Alipay. So there we go. This is another example of them protecting the markets and not allowing foreigners to use them. But Japan and in other countries, even Australia, they have WeChat and Alipay that they take there. Of course, I can't use it. I tried while I was there. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me in Japan. It doesn't work in Australia. And the reason it doesn't work, the message that I get, and it's in English, it says that your ID is not Chinese. No, I'm sorry. It was not in English. The message was in Chinese. My Chinese friend told me, it says you don't have a Chinese ID. So I just had my Chinese friend pay, and I just send him money. So I can send Chinese money all day long, but I cannot pay for foreign services outside of China. So just remember that. So if you're planning on using WeChat or Alipay and you don't have a Chinese ID, i.e. you're not a Chinese person, then you're not going to use WeChat or Alipay outside of China. If there's a way around this, I don't know what it is yet. Anyway, let's move on to the things you can pay for, because I said in this video that I would show you how you can pay for cheaper flights or get cheaper flights and transportation in and around China. Well, if you're living in China, or you plan to travel around China or travel to some places nearby China, then this is what I would say. Go to Spring Airlines. If you're looking for the English site, you can go, I think it's ch.com/en, or it's en.ch.com. and that's English.ch. I don't know what the CH stands for. That's just the Spring Airlines website address. So once you go to Spring Airlines, you'll realize that you can actually book your flights online and pay for it with Alipay or WeChat. And yes, you can. Even if you're a foreigner, you can pay for it. Why? Because it's a Chinese company. That's why. If you're trying to pay a Japanese company, it won't work. Or a company in Thailand or Australia or something, it won't work. It only works for these Chinese companies. So if you want to book a cheap flight, a round-trip ticket somewhere inside China or maybe outside China, you can go to Spring Airlines. Now, you get mixed reviews about Spring Airlines. Some people don't like them or whatever, but remember, it's a budget airline, and for a budget airline, it's really, really good. I think so, anyway. You can get a round-trip flight from Shanghai to Japan sometimes for like 800 or 900 renminbi. You know, it's like $150 maybe. $150 round trip to go to Tokyo. That's awesome. And then of course in Japan you can get some hostels or some dormitory rooms really cheap, good quality, and have a really cheap weekend trip or a week trip to Japan from China. So there you go. But Spring Airlines flies to several different places. So you can go to Hong Kong, you can go to Taiwan, you can go to I think Vietnam, you can go to Thailand, several different places you can go to with just that one budget airline, and you can pay yourself. So if you're tired of depending on your Chinese friends or if you happen to be teaching in China or whatever it is you're doing, you don't need to get their help to do everything. You can be more independent and do it yourself. So get your card set up, get it connected to WeChat or Alipay or whatever, and then you can go and book your own flights online. Now, that being said, what about the hotels? Well, it is possible that once you get your Zhifubao or Alipay set up, you can also use Ctrip. And Ctrip is the Chinese website, but it also has an English version. They do trains and planes and hotels and all that kind of stuff. I've never booked a hotel through Ctrip, but you can use Booking. Booking.com is the website that I use, and many of the hotel rooms that you can book, you don't have to pay to reserve it, and you don't have to pay to cancel up until a certain point, and maybe you don't even have to pay until you arrive at the hotel. So I've always used it. I've been using it for several years, and I'm very happy with that. So those are my recommendations for you right now. If you're in China or thinking about coming to China, maybe you're looking for ways to be more independent, these are some good ways to do it. Because even if you can speak Chinese, how many of us are going to be able to read it? Not so many. And a lot of the Chinese websites are not foreigner friendly. They don't have an English version. It's not like Google. And Google seems to like to include as many languages as possible and make many different versions available. Even Amazon does that. They have different versions in different countries and different languages. But you know, these popular sites in China for shopping like Taobao and JD, and they're not going to have any English at all. No English versions. So if you want to order something from there, you either have to read Chinese or get a friend to help you, a Chinese friend to help you. However, Spring Airlines and some other budget airlines like Hong Kong Express even, they have online payment available and English versions, and you can do it all yourself, and you can save yourself some money. If you have any questions, let me know. This video ran a lot longer than I was thinking it would, but that's what it is. Anyway, hope this helps, and I'll talk to you next time. 再见，拜拜。